Hey everyone, this is Ben with RegisteredNurseRN.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about 8 ways that nurses can increase their income. Now obviously nursing is not about the money, it's about caring for patients and saving lives. But nevertheless, since you're already there working, you may as well maximize your income while you're there, right? So I'm going to give you 8 tips that you can use, or 8 strategies that you can use to increase your overall income. Let's get started. Number 1, networking. Now what is networking? Networking is just getting to know individuals and keeping in contact with other professionals on the job, so that way you can have a sort of camaraderie, you can keep up with them, and you can help one another out. And networking can definitely pay off, because sometimes it's not about your skills or your own talent as an individual. Sometimes it's about who you know. That's kind of unfortunate, but it's true, not just in nursing, but in a lot of professions. And I've heard a story recently about a man who was working on a floor and a shift leader position opened up, and he was interested in applying for this shift leader position. And everyone on that floor really liked this guy. He was a hardworking nurse. Well, it turned out that the manager over that unit stepped down and they hired another manager in. Now, he was still applying for that position, but unfortunately that new manager, hired in one of her friends to be shift leader for that position. So he didn't get the job at that time. And that happened. So why did that happen? Well, obviously she knew the other person, they had networked or known one another, and so that happened. So you always want to network, because you never know when that can pay off. You also want to be a good nurse too, but it can pay off to network. All right, number 2, work night shift. And a lot of people don't like working night shift. In fact, a lot of new grads will sometimes hate going into a night shift position, because sometimes that's all that's available in some areas where the nursing shortage isn't quite as prevalent. But if you work night shift, you can usually get a premium, and they may pay anywhere from $1 to $3 extra per hour, or they may just include an extra percentage of whatever you make. But a lot of hospitals and healthcare facilities will offer a premium if you work night shift. So that's one way that you can increase your income. All right, number 3, work in critical care areas. And again, this is another way that you can earn an additional income for the same amount of time doing the same amount of work. Now, critical care areas like the ICU or ER, there's a lot more pressure, a lot more stress, and you need sometimes a little more skill. And for that reason, a lot of healthcare employers will offer a percentage or a per hour premium if you work in those critical care areas. So that's another way you can increase your income. Number 4, obtain additional certifications. And this is really important if you've decided on a certain specialty. For example, you want to become a NICU nurse, or you want to become labor and delivery nurse, or whatever. Once you become that nurse, they'll give you on-the-job training if you work there. But what a lot of people don't know is there are sometimes additional certifications that you can get, and your employer may recognize that and give you an extra bonus or even a promotion based on that. Now, the ANCC, which is the American Nurse Credentialing Center, they will offer different credentials. That's just one credentialing agency. There are other. You can go to nursecredentialing.org. That's the ANCC organization. You can look at what kind of credentials they offer for different specialties and for different types of nurses, like advanced practice nurses and so forth. But you can go on there and you can obtain additional certifications, sometimes through your employer, or sometimes just by registering independently and going for those certifications. And when you do that, it's going to reflect better on you. It's also going to reflect well on your employer if they hire nurses who have all these extra credentials. So a lot of times employers will recognize that, and they will give you a premium if you go through and you complete additional certifications. And just to give you just a quick example, just take, for example, nursing assistants versus certified nursing assistants, CNAs. Usually there's a pretty big pay gap between the two. So, if you get certified as a neonatal nurse, or if you get an additional certification, that's a way that you can increase your income. Okay, number 5, participate in ladder programs. Career ladder programs. Now, what these are programs a lot of hospitals and healthcare agencies are beginning to offer for nurses. And the idea behind it is that they will make you do a series of tasks, and when you complete those tasks, they will sometimes have different levels, but whichever level you complete, you'll get an additional pay grade for that level. And my wife has participated in these types of programs before. For example, at a local hospital here, they have something called the Best Nurse Program, and the BEST just stands for Bedside Excellence Shining Through. And basically she had to write a paper, she had to log certain volunteer work, I think, and some other things like that. But she had to put together a portfolio and do those things. And once she did that, she got a pay increase. And they'll pay either a certain dollar amount or a percentage amount as long as you remain enrolled in the program. So for attaining certifications and these career ladder programs, my advice here is to contact your employer, talk to the person in the HR office, or talk to your nurse manager and just ask them if they participate or offer a wage increase for either of these two things. And a lot of times you'll find that your hospital may offer a similar program to that. It may not be exactly the same, but that is another way that you can work on the side to obtain additional certifications and get involved in these programs to increase your income. Okay, number 6, apply to management or shift leader or charge positions. And that's one of the quick ways just to advance in your career. And of course, when you go into a new position like that, you're almost always going to see a wage increase. So look out for a management position to open up, or become a shift leader or a charge nurse. And that will enable you to lead the team of nurses on your unit, or lead a whole floor of nurses. And of course, that is going to increase your income. Number 7, earn an advanced degree. And that's a no-brainer, but almost any time you go for an advanced degree in the healthcare industry, you're probably going to see a pretty substantial increase in pay. And I'm going to give you a quick example. LPNs in the United States earn an average salary of $43,420. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. An RN will earn an average salary of $69,790. So it takes about a year to become an LPN through a diploma or a certificate program. And then for an RN, you can do it in either 2 or 4 years through an ADN program or a BSN program. So just for 1 year of additional schooling, you could go from $43,420 as the average in the United States up to $69,790. That's a difference of $26,370 right there. Over a 40-year period, over a 40-year career, that equates to almost over $1 million. So right there alone, that's a huge difference just for 1 year of extra schooling. Now, I took another figure, which was the CRNA, the Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, and this individual in the United States earns an average salary of $158,900. Now, that's an advanced degree. You have to have a master's level for that. It takes about 2 or 3 years in a master's program. And so if you go, let's say you get a BSN in nursing and then you go an extra 2 or 3 years, you could increase your average income up to that. That's an $89,110 difference over a 40-year career. That's over $3.5 million. So just for an extra 2 to 3 years over a BSN degree. So getting an advanced degree almost always pays off. Now those are simple numbers and I'm only using averages. I'm not factoring in the cost of tuition. I'm not factoring in cost of textbooks and supplies, and also those opportunity costs, whereas while you're in school you could have been working and so forth. So you have to always calculate those things up. I might make a video in the future talking about whether it's worth it to get an advanced degree, and I'll crunch the numbers a little bit more in detail. But generally speaking, it almost always pays to get an advanced degree in healthcare. And then number 8, change industries. That's another way that you can increase your income as a nurse. And your income is greatly affected by the industry in which you work. For example, I went and looked at the top paying industry for registered nurses just within the healthcare sector only. Not all the sectors out there, but just in the healthcare sector. The specialty hospitals ranked number 1, especially the ones that were state-owned, and the average salary there was $77,660. Now compare that to one of the lower ones within the healthcare sector, which was residential mental health and substance abuse, and that industry only paid $59,950. So right there you can see quite a big pay gap. So in conclusion, network, you can consider working night shift or in critical care areas, obtain additional certifications, see if your employer has a step ladder or a career ladder program, such as the Best Nurse program or whatever they may call their program. Look out for management positions or shift leader or charge nurse, earn an advanced degree, and change industries. Those are the top 8 ways that you can increase your income as a nurse. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.